What's up, losers? Today I'm back with another expedition into the sordid depths of r/nice guys, checking out a couple of embarrassing and/or disturbing posts, sharing my thoughts on them, and hoping that my name doesn't end up on anybody's kill list. This is episode 18 in the Nice Guys series, and I've got some really wild posts lined up today. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I'm so sorry about arguing with you. I didn't know that you were a girl. And you're so pretty, and I just wanted to apologize for being so mean to you. I didn't mean any of it. Please read my message. I'm sorry. Please. Please, I'm sorry. You look like an anime girl I saw on your profile, and I think you look so good in pink. You should be an anime voice actor, or a model or something. You remind me of Momozono Nanami from Kami-sama Kiss. We should be friends. You'd just have to wear brown contacts, and you'd look just like her. Frick you, stupid harlot. You're why women get roped. Because you don't give any attention to men. I hope everybody ignores you. You could have just been my friend, and it wouldn't be this way. I hope you end up as a slave, and you're abused and neglected. You don't deserve men giving you any sort of good attention. You should have just taken my compliments and accepted my apology. You stupid hooer. Hope you never see the light of day again. You slutty beach.
Holy moly, that was a lot. I don't say this lightly, but I'm getting genuine serial killer vibes from this guy. Like, you can't convince me that any girl who gave him the time of day wouldn't end up with their skin stitched onto his body pillow. Terrifying. I'm seriously at a loss as to what could possibly compel someone to approach a potentially romantic interaction like this. Generally speaking, women don't want to pretend to be some weird dude's favorite anime character and put on contact lenses to better approximate the 2D character that he pleasures himself to on a daily basis. They want to be appreciated for who they actually are. Shocking, right? Wanting to bring a woman, and a woman you don't even know, at that, in on your childish fantasy, rather than trying to initiate any kind of mutual attraction, or, I don't know, crazy idea here. Leaving her alone can only be described as supremely narcissistic and infantile, and I find it very difficult to believe that this guy is functioning at all positively in society. Because let's be real, his understanding of basic social acceptability is completely non-existent. As for his angry rant, what can I say other than, it's disturbing. Wishing abuse and sexual slavery upon anyone is so hateful and disgusting that I don't know what further condemnation is needed from me. The words condemn themselves. Beyond that, his insistence that she should have appreciated his compliments is just laughable. Not only was he clearly just sucking up to her because he realized she was pretty, after having insulted her when he didn't know what he looked like, he couldn't even do that right, and just had to weirdly project his anime fixation onto her. Furthermore, if she ignored him because she figured that he was a creep, she was obviously completely right in this assessment, wasn't she? His vicious rant at failing to get what he wanted proves it. So it's not like he can complain that she misjudged him or something. She was bang on the money. And he can't deal with it, haha. Not gonna lie, it's pretty frustrating how even as anime becomes more accepted and normalized, we still have creepy-ass guys like this giving it a bad name. I myself enjoy a lot of anime shows, and I would willingly identify myself as an anime fan. But it's really dispiriting that I would probably feel the need to qualify this by saying that I'm not one of those anime fans. Sighs. This behavior is just not it. Guys, get a fricking clue. That's it. Okay, so this next post is really long, but I promise it's a good one, and well worth a listen. So to break up the monotony, and better respond to the post as a whole, I'm going to go through it in chunks, and respond to each chunk individually. Okay, let's go.
You know, I was going to post my story on a throwaway. On Am I the Asshole? But because you're a female who hates men so much, you need to hear this throwaway account, because stories that have harsh truths often seem to catch hate, especially when a female involved. Secondly, I would prefer only men who are proud of being a man to read my story. Now I want to say, I understand abortion is a very sensitive issue. Many people hold strong views. Rather is to be for religious reasons, or females' rights, but I have a different reason entirely. But to follow the rules of the sub, and give the most cohesive story possible, I will explain my objection. Now, despite my objection to abortion, I want it to be known, I love females, and am a gentleman, but I just have different views.
Oh great, it's only the first section, and we've already got 4 uses of the word female. We've got the guy identifying himself as a gentleman, and we've got the introduction of a really serious issue. Abortion, that you just know, this guy isn't going to have the maturity to deal with. I've got a bad feeling about this, but it seems only fair to give our friend here the benefit of the doubt. So let's hear him out.
So me, 26 male, and my brother, 22 male, have never seen eye to eye in life. I've always been an intelligent, considerate, and nice man. My brother, however, has always been some loud, obnoxious jock. Despite his flaws, though, he did better in social situations. And with females. Isn't it funny how that worked out? Now, here in Canada, hockey is very popular, and my brother was good at this. And as we got older, he started bringing these annoying females around. It changed pretty consistently, but there have always been a few that were always around. Now, because I am a smart and responsible individual, I have a pretty decent-sized place here in Western Canada, and I've let my obnoxious brother stay with me during a hard time. So when he goes out with his friends, the annoying females will come in before and after, and talk for a few minutes.
Wow, this guy sure has a high opinion of himself, doesn't he? Not only is he an intelligent, considerate, and nice man, but he's also a smart and responsible individual. What a catch. Right, I've half a mind to go out with him myself, haha. He doesn't seem to like his brother much though. Which begs the question, if the brother really is just a loud, obnoxious jock, why would you let him stay with you in the first place? I'm legitimately curious on this point. I mean, he's 22 years old. It's not like you're obliged to put up with him. If you really hate him that much, I suppose I should praise our friend here for his generosity. But I can't help but think that living with someone you so clearly loathe is a recipe for disaster. For what it's worth, I'm not surprised that the brother has more success in social situations. Whether he really is as bad as the post describes him to be. Because he's probably, at the very least, mature enough not to call women annoying females, which, from memory, might have been what I called girls when I was 8 years old, haha. But yeah, I'm inclined to doubt that it's just because he plays hockey that he has more friends than our tragic hero. That's just conjecture on my part. Though, maybe his hockey stick really is that impressive. Who can say?
Because we don't agree on many things. Debates often happen, but this past weekend, it reached a climax over abortion. Now, to avoid this being seen as Rule 8, and to give the most coherent story possible. I will explain my reasons for objecting to abortion and why. Simply put, I believe the majority of females don't care about good men. Many of them have never given me any sort of chance when I deserved a date. But they will my annoying brother a chance when I pay his fricking bills. Most females love bashing men and using men. Check out the lyrics for the misandrist diatribe for the song, WAP. Many females, especially when I was younger, refused to even give me a chance. Now, many of these females want to feel sexually liberated. Which is fine. Everyone can do what they want. Heck, it's why I donate to the PPC. But I believe in responsibility and accountability in this lifestyle. I mean, 80% of females go for the top 20% of men. Like my brother. This is a proven fact. Across all major dating sites.
Man, what is it about WAP that gets these dudes so riled up? First it was Ben Shapiro. Now this guy. I will readily admit that the song is not my cup of tea. And it's certainly crude, but it's hardly a misandrist diatribe. And I don't really know where he's getting that idea from. Beyond that, what does he hope to accomplish by invoking some random hip-hop song, in service of his sweeping social commentary? Like, even if WAP were a misandrist diatribe, that wouldn't actually prove the point that most women don't care about good men. Or that they love to bash and use men. In fact, it wouldn't really tell us much of anything. Because the way people respond to music is not necessarily indicative of their real-world opinions or behaviors. Otherwise we'd have to lock up all the metal fans, haha. In other words, it's just a dirty song. It's not a political manifesto. So chill out. As for the 80% of women going for the top 20% of men statistic, I can acknowledge that this might be unfortunate for the bottom 80% of men, and that things might be different in a perfect world. But I don't see how it's fair to blame women for this. Like, they're as entitled to pursue whomever they please as anyone else. And what is the alternative? That we literally force them to go out with men that they aren't attracted to. Call me crazy, but that doesn't sound like an improvement on men having a hard time getting a date. My final comment for this section is just, wow, could this guy be any more obvious in his jealousy towards his brother? My man is really out here, fuming over how women prefer his brother to him. If nothing else, you have to applaud his honesty. I guess, because I would be embarrassed to put my seething resentment on display like this. But clearly this guy doesn't concern himself with such things. Either way, it's hilarious.
So when females go and participate in this sexually liberated lifestyle, I believe they should be responsible. And getting pregnant by someone you don't want is the female's fault. I know society wants to pretend that it's not, but it is. The fact is, many females in this sexually liberated culture need to be aware that any guy they have intercourse with could be a father. If that's too hard for you, maybe you shouldn't have sex and consider a nice guy. So my reason for not supporting abortion is because I think females need to be held more accountable for their actions. Especially because of how the majority of them treat good men. If the majority of abortions happen because of people in a relationship not being ready for kids, I would be more lenient. But not in today's society. Again, I know I made a very controversial statement, which I believe to be a harsh truth. And to avoid this being Rule 8, I'll explain what I mean by nice guys not being treated fairly as well. If I will be judged on if I'm an asshole or not. I want my full point of view and perspective out there.
There it is. Once again, you have to give this guy credit for his honesty. He's not even trying to hide the fact that he just wants to ban abortion to punish women. Because he's mad that they won't sleep with him. Don't get me wrong, I find this reasoning vile. But I can respect his openness. If nothing else, because I suspect that there are probably plenty of other men out there who feel the same way, but would not be as transparent about the twisted motives. Regardless of one's personal position on abortion, I hope we can all agree that babies should not be used as a weapon of revenge against women. They deserve to be born into families where they are loved and wanted. But clearly this guy doesn't care about any of that. He just wants to see the women who dared to reject him saddled with children that they neither want nor are prepared to take care of. And what can I say? I find that utterly repugnant. Oh yeah, and what is this sheet about getting pregnant being only women's fault? Did this guy miss health class or something? It takes two to tango. Buddy, each party bears some responsibility when a child is conceived. You don't get to put it all on the woman just because you hate women. But nice try though. Let's continue.
So as I have said, I am, and always have been, a nice, intelligent, and kind person. You know, the kind of person who actually deserves a relationship with a female. And I grew up thinking that my traits, and intelligence, and non-confrontational persona, would make me a hit with the females. But I was mistreated, and distracted, and sometimes even bullied, while the scumbags who looked down on guys like me got attention from females. I will give an example in the Japanese animation Pokémon, a show I loved as a child. Ash Ketchum, the protagonist, was a nice caring gentleman, like myself, and Gary was some tall scumbag bully, constantly bullying Ash, and treating him like shit, for no reason. However, Ash came out on top, and had a lot of female attention. That's the way I thought the world would work. Good men would get the attention from females that they deserved, and jerks and scumbags were shunned by them. But no, I'm the real world. Guys like Ash are seen as icky virgins, and guys like Gary are seen as hot hockey stars.
Oh good lord, what did I just read? Pokémon, really? Size. I'll start with the first part, and then get onto that whole mess. So apparently this guy thought that his intelligence, and his quote, non-confrontational persona, would make him a hit with the ladies. I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but if one were to list out the qualities in a man that women, by and large, find most enticing, non-confrontational probably wouldn't make the top 100. Maybe not even the top 1000. To be honest. Like, most women probably don't want an angry meathead, or anything like that, but they probably do prefer to have a man who can, at least on some level, stand up for himself, and for them. So really, while being non-confrontational is not an absolute killer, and you can still find someone, even if you struggle to assert yourself, it's really more of a minus than a plus. And it's certainly not the selling point that this dude seems to think that it is. And as for the Pokémon story, where do I even begin? The fact that a 26-year-old man thought that the best way to illustrate his point about society was to bring up the Pokémon anime is both endlessly amusing and deeply sad, much like his hero Ash. This guy seems to have stopped maturing at 10 years old. But unlike Ash, who has the luxury of being a fictional character, this guy has continued to age beyond this developmental endpoint. And the real world has proven much less forgiving than Ash's anime one. I'm not going to dig too deep into this guy's reading of the Pokémon anime as a text. Though there are undoubtedly things I could say, because whether his interpretation of the show is textually supported or not, is immaterial to the matter of whether it's reasonable to expect the real world to live up to the fantasy of an anime show for children. Which, surprise surprise, it's not. This dude's apparent sense of betrayal at real women not flocking to him like he was an anime protagonist is just bizarre. Like, did he feel betrayed when he turned 10? And Professor Oak didn't bring him in to select his starter Pokemon too. You can't expect life to play out like you're in an anime show. I can't believe that I'm being forced to explain this to a grown-ass man. But here we are. Pokemon are not real. Anime shows are not documentaries. And you are not Ash Ketchum. So maybe it's time to stop acting like a 10-year-old. Just a thought.
Now, for a personal story, to further hit home my point. In the last year of secondary education or high school, there was a dance, and throughout my entire secondary education career, I had never even gone on a date with a female, or had a true female friend. To top it all off, my brother went to my school that year, and started to look down on me as well, and started to associate himself with popular scumbags. So there was a very attractive female who came to our school from Gatineau, a city in Quebec, who I helped with schoolwork at times. And everyone told me to ask this girl to the dance. I believed it would work. I had confidence. I remember the day it happened. My brother could not keep a smile off his face. Since she was a French Canadian, I sang a huge song in front of everyone in French, and had a huge poster. The heartless beach rejected me. The entire thing was a joke. The only thing that stopped me from getting what I deserved was not being a 195 centimeters hockey player.
Well, despite it all, I did feel a little twinge of empathy for our protagonist when reading this part. Public rejection will always sting. And it sounds like he might have been set up for failure by his schoolmates. Which is really hurtful and unnecessary. It's clear that this guy is, at a bare minimum, very naive and lacking in self-awareness. And it's regrettable that people would have used that vulnerability to have fun at his expense. With that being said, I really don't know what he was thinking with the spectacular public serenade. And the poster. Like, even if he was set up, to a certain extent, with such an over-the-top love confession, he was basically asking to get clowned on. And by the end of high school, he really should have been old enough to know better. And for what it's worth, from the sound of the story, I don't think that being a 195 centimeters hockey player would have helped much. It still would have been just as cringy. But if telling himself that makes him feel better, then who am I to take that away from him? Right?
Now that I explained the first part of my story, and explained why I held the view I had, and expanded on detail to follow Rule 7, and avoid this being seen as Rule 8, I will explain the vile incident that occurred between me and my brother's friends. So this past Saturday, at my house, my brother was preparing to go out, and his female friends came in, as they were pressing to go pick up others. Now again, we aren't compatible at all, in almost anything, but this one female, I'll call Julia, takes the cake and eats it. When it comes to being annoying, she always mentions how her mother is from Iran, and she always talks about feminism, and tries to press me on my opinions as if to embarrass me. So a few weeks ago in America, their international court had a draft leak that abortion was going to be overturned, and some leaders of their opposition parties said a federal abortion ban could be possible. Well, this pissed off Julia, and she kept talking about it, and trying to get my opinion for the past few weeks when I tried to avoid it. Well, this weekend, I was fed up with this disrespect, and I told this female the truth. I told her how females disrespect and treat nice guys like shit, and females need to be held more accountable for their actions. and that some people consider it a life being killed, and the entire world does not revolve around females. I expected my brother to at least come to my aid, as not only a fellow man, but a brother. Instead, he got this look on his face that conveyed a look of embarrassment and anger. He then shouted at me very loudly that I needed to shut up. What I was saying was unacceptable. It was 5 against 1. I was being disrespected for having an opinion in my own fricking house. And my own fricking brother was siding with females over his flesh and blood. It was disgraceful. In my opinion, why was I being attacked for having my own opinion?
Okay, but you weren't being attacked just for having your own opinion, were you? You were being attacked for sharing an opinion which, unsurprisingly, your brother and his friends found highly objectionable. And from the emotional maturity you've displayed throughout this post, I doubt that you shared it in a way that was remotely respectful or appropriate. The fact that you're entitled to an opinion does not mean that other people have to like your opinion, or that they are required to hold back in responding to it. And if you go off on a deranged rant about how females need to be punished for their apparent sexual improprieties, you could probably have anticipated a little pushback. I mean, surely you weren't expecting the women to all agree with you about how terrible women are. Right, so I don't know where this surprise is coming from, that you were met with such a frosty reception. Then again, maybe you really are just that clueless.
After that, all of the females left, and my brother told them he was not going out that day. Afterward, we had a very uncomfortable conversation. He told me telling her that was disgraceful, and even having those views made me an asshole. I had a rebuttal, mentioning how I was treated, and the sex-based culture. He said I took the rejection way too far. Basically, a few years later, I reported that girl for having illegal substances she would brag about. And my brother needed to help in his last year of secondary education with a major test. So I refused to help. To see as he always called me a bad brother school and he failed. I tried to mention these two incidents had nothing to do with the situation. But he kept calling me an asshole. It was unbelievable. Females go through what nice guys go through our entire lives, and this is how they react. This incident has quite literally ruined my family dynamic, as my brother has been living with friends. And now he's saying this weekend he'll come by with Julia. And I need to apologize for being an asshole. And I feel this upcoming weekend is a very important moment for my brother and me.
Well, this part was pretty hard to follow. So I'm not sure exactly how to respond to it. Reporting a girl for having illegal substances just because she rejected you is a pretty bitter and spiteful thing to do. Not helping your brother with a test may be a little less so. Nobody is entitled to anybody else's free labor. After all, though once again, your motives are rather petty. And it doesn't exactly reflect well on you. As for the ruined family dynamic, honestly I just think that this guy and his brother need a clean break from one another. It's clear that they don't enjoy each other's company. And continuing to exist in such close proximity to one another seems destined only to widen the rift between them. Sometimes the best remedy for tension is a little space. And I would strongly advise these two brothers to give this remedy a try. But that's just my 2 cents worth.
But I feel I was right in my opinion. And I'm not an asshole for explaining the truth. But I can hear others' opinions. As this situation has very important implications for me. I just need to know why I got all this backlash. It doesn't make sense to anyone who disagrees with me. Please tell me why. I followed all the rules. And desperately need second thoughts on this. Please let me know if I'm the asshole. Thank you. See, it's not fricking fair I was treated like that when I was the nice guy my entire life. Just let me know, was I the asshole there?
Phew, that was a ride, wasn't it? I'm not sure if this guy is the only asshole in this situation, but he sure has some assholish ideas about women, and let's just say that he has a lot of growing up to do. But anyway, I was originally planning to respond to 3 posts in this video. But that second one turned into a real marathon. So I hope you'll forgive me for calling it a day here. What do you think? Would you put on contact lenses to be some creepy guy's anime girlfriend? Do women only like the Garys of the world and not appreciate the Ashes? Which of these charming lads would you give your rose to if you were on the worst season of The Bachelorette in history? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll make you perform WAP in front of your crush. And then you'll get your head dunked in the toilet by a 195 centimeters hockey player. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.